A thick fog impedes your vision. You surmise this is in no small part why they call it the Bewildering Wood. Many a brave soul has set foot in this wood, only to be swallowed up and never seen nor heard from again, the traveler intones gravely. They also tell of a certain tool one needs to get through this place. A message is written on the sign. Seek out the 4 stela hidden deep in these woods. Trees bearing very solid-looking nuts whip to and fro in the force of the gale. This doesn't bode well for you. Nuts fly off the trees and smack you and your friends right on the head. Everyone's faces screw up in agony. You have found the southern stela. You smack it and hear a sound off to the west. You'd best head that way next. Don't hold back. You have found the Eastern Stela. You see the words Melody of Fortune chiseled into the corner. Poor Mar clutches the spot, eyes tearing up from the blow. You hear a beautiful melody flowing from the forest depths. It sounds like singing, or perhaps bird song. You take a peek inside the grass and immediately find the owner of the voice. It seems like the harpy hasn't yet noticed you. You pick up a rock and throw it at the monster's feet. Startled, the monster flaps its wings and flies away. You find some coins scattered about where it stood. have found the Northern Stela. It doesn't look particularly special. You resolve to touch it anyhow. Don't hold back. You have found the Western Stela, which you swear up and down was not here when you came in. Nevertheless, you give it a smack. You have found all 4 of the Stela in the Bewildering Wood. On a perhaps related note, you hear a sound emanating from the east. The woman appears to be lost. How do I get out of here? She asks with furrowed brows. I need to hit the Stela every single time I want to go home. Ah, what a pain, the frowning woman sighs. The next Stela is... You hear someone murmuring. It sounds like a man, but you can't really be sure in these woods. You've already investigated this Stela. If memory serves, you heard a sound off to the west when you hit it. As you listen closely, the grass rustles. Then a monster slowly shows itself from between the blades. It's a harpy. Realizing you've been caught in the harpy's trap, you ready your weapons. For some time after that, you find yourself trembling at the mere sound of a bird's tweet. You've already investigated this Stela. The words Melody of Fortune are rather conspicuously chiseled into the corner. You examine the Stela. The message carved into the Stela reads, "Play in tune with the forest." You hold the woodland flute you received from the good doctor in Thriston. You slowly back away from the Stela. Doot-doot-doot-doodly, doot-doot-doot-doo. You blow a handful of pleasant enough notes into the woodland flute. You soon become aware of accompanying percussion, which reveals itself to be a series of impeccably timed footfalls racing toward you. A young woman appears before you. "That was absolutely dreadful," she whinges, her jaunty gait betraying her enjoyment. She calls herself Riddis and declares herself a woodlander, resident of the Bewildering Wood. By sheer coincidence, the flute on which you played those notes was one designed to call the woodland people to your side. Stunned by your good fortune, you ask Riddis to lead you eastward out of the forest. What luck! She agrees far more readily than you ever anticipated. But, she continues, extending her hand, you'll have to hand over the woodland flute first. Hand over this precious treasure after all we did to obtain it? Are you mad? You yell, thoroughly declining Riddis's offer. Okay then, enjoy roaming the Bewildering Wood for all of eternity, she says, striding off to who knows where. You play the woodland flute once more, summoning Riddis to your side. You hand over the flute, firmly restating that she may have it on the condition she leads you out of the Bewildering Wood. Riddis plucks the woodland flute out of your hands with glee and begins playing it as she skips away. Well, playing is a generous term. It sounds as though she may as well be murdering the poor thing. Riddis makes it clear that the fastest way out of the woods is through woodland, where she lives. "It's that-a-way," Riddis says gleefully, pointing past the stela before you. Welcome to Woodland, Ritus says, gesturing out over the village. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm quite busy for the rest of the day, so you'll have to wait till tomorrow to leave the forest, she says, and makes her way home. Welcome to the Forest Oasis, the man greets you warmly. Been a while since we've had any outside. It turns out this inn is simply a place where the poor, lost souls trapped in the bewildering wood may recover. You may stay as long as you like, free of charge. Apparently she's heard rumors of the dragon destroying another town somewhere. Our village would burn down so easily, she mutters, perhaps a bit more afraid of the symptom than the cause. You learn that Ritus's family is mired in debt and living hand to mouth, and I know how they got in so much trouble. The rumor, we are not in the business of meddling in the personal affairs of others, Melanie says curtly, cutting her off. This shortcut is reserved for use by woodland citizens only, the guard barks, clearly unwilling to let you pass. You happen upon a man greedily guzzling well water, Could it truly be that much better than ordinary water? Riddis pores over a book while practicing on the woodland flute. She remains dreadful at it. The instant you begin speaking, she nearly leaps out of her skin and hides the book. She somehow hadn't noticed you. I thought you were the debt collectors. You can't sneak up on me like that, she stammers, struggling to regain her composure. You take note of a woman who appears quite ill. As it turns out, she is none other than Riddis's mother. She is in no small amount of pain. Will you give her something to ease her suffering? The item you've proffered has no effect on her illness. But I appreciate the thought all the same, she says with a smile. Riddis's mother hands you mysterious card 3 as a token of her gratitude. She begins speaking of Riddis, who has been preparing the medicine that helps her get through the day. She blames her illness, and therefore herself, for making Riddis's life so difficult. The more she talks, the more her face drops. The wooden dining table practically groans under the weight of the platters upon it, all brimming with meats and vegetables from the bewildering wood. I've certainly earned this, you say to yourself, as you slide into your seat at the table, positively drooling over the feast before you. Melanie takes no note of your boorish behavior, uttering a small prayer of thanksgiving before reaching for a plate of vegetables. Mar sits, eyes fixed on the food upon the table, statuesque in his stillness. What a good boy. Mar clears the entire table in a matter of seconds, even emptying the water barrel in a single gulp. He lets out a self-satisfied burp that sends a small jet of just-drank water arcing out onto the floor. The sun sinks low, and the day draws to a close. A scream pierces the silence. Fire! You leap out of bed, adrenaline coursing through your veins. The others follow suit, and before long you've burst through the front door and into the street. Riddis's house is ablaze, a nearby villager screams. My mother is still inside, Riddis shrieks, darting past you to fetch water from the well south of the village. Riddis is gathering water in an attempt to fight the blaze all on her own. Mar's eyes light up. He scrambles over the edge of the well and sucks the well dry in an instant. He pokes at his swollen belly and gestures toward Riddis's house, as if to say, "Get me back there, quick." Quickly, put it out. You have to put it out, Riddis screams at Mar. Mar douses the house with the water he sucked up from the well. The fire is reduced to mere embers, and all is well. Or so you think. Something darts out from behind the house and attacks. Nice work. The fiery beast dispatched, you return to putting out the last of the blaze with Mars' help. Ridis's mother, now safe, tells you the creature came out of nowhere and set the house aflame. What would bring a creature of fire to a place like this, you wonder? Light breaks on a new day, and the commotion of the fire feels but a nightmare. You lead your party to Ridis's house to ask for safe passage out of the bewildering wood. Though spared from complete collapse, Ridis's home has been thoroughly scorched. Ridis sits alone in one of its rooms, the air thick with the smell of char. There shouldn't be any fire creatures for miles, she grumbles. She says the monster appeared while she was playing the woodland flute last night. As to why any monsters, let alone fire monsters, appeared, well, despite the circumstances, you ask Ridis to lead you out of the bewildering wood as promised. I did promise that, didn't I? She says wearily, rising from her seat. The poor girl is clearly still in shock. Why do you want to venture out beyond the bewildering wood anyway? She inquires, as she gathers this and that in preparation to leave. We are in search of the dragon, you say valiantly, adding, the reward will be significant should we defeat him. Honesty sounds like a real risky way to make a living, she replies flatly, feigning interest. A group of Ivory Order people came through here just the other day, she explains. You connect the dots with malice. Those three, you seethe. At last, Ridis is ready to depart for the edge of the bewildering wood. Ridis has been working to repay the debt ever since her mother took ill. You lightly press your thumb and forefinger to the corner of each eye, a mixture of sadness and anger swirling within you. This road takes you to the east side of the Bewildering Wood, but you'd be hard-pressed to find your way without a woodlander's help, the guard warns. Upon seeing that Riddis is with you, he steps aside and lets you through. The eastern portion of the woods certainly does not want for thick, soupy fog.